Brian Tracy said that the person you become is far more important than the results that you achieve. But why do I say that on the beach in about 35, 40 knots of wind? This is why. I won't achieve anything today, and I know that, because it's too windy to be up here on the boat. Doing the work, everything will be everywhere. If I'd pull these winches apart, they'd all go all over the place. If I opened this hatch, it would just fill with water if I tried to replace it. If I took this companionway hatch home with me, the inside would be filled with sand, with rain, whatever, because it'd be open. And if I was to fix the leak that we have in the hatch over here, it would be too dangerous to be at the bow of the boat when it's as windy as this at the moment. But last week I took this apart. I pinpointed where the leak was, and I'll make a whole video about it soon. But what I learned from that day allowed me to do the research, to do the due diligence as for what we need, and not to just botch job it and glue it down. I need to replace the whole rubber seal around the hatch itself, and that will take time to find the right seal. I've tried to shop locally. Most of the boatyard shops here, none of them had a rubber seal for this hatch. So I'll have to go online. I'll have to research the proper one, the proper size, the proper width. But even though I'm not achieving this, I am working behind the scenes, away from the boat, doing my research. And yes, that is over a coffee. And when the boat moves around as much as this, there's nothing that I can do. "33 knots. But I think now is time to get back for that coffee. So this is our issue. So this is where the old balsa wood was, rotten. And here are the chain plate bolts. So the deck's at the top, this is the bulkhead, that's the bolts for the chain plates. This is the cavity that we have. And if we just install the foam core here, that won't take the weight properly. So that's a big issue. So we install the foam core like this. We cut the center out where the chain plates are, because that's where the load is being pushed up, being pushed through the boat to come out through the top. So that's the foam. Here we need to install a ply, a marine plywood that will sit right in the center here, where the weight of the chain plates get pushed up, and this deals with compression and load far better than the foam does, therefore making it stronger at the crucial point. This here, the foam, will act as something that will firm up the side. It's there for stiffness because it's been glassed at the top and glassed at the bottom. So we need to cut this out here with a hacksaw, of which I have. But then comes the issue of installing this foam core. The minimum temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. And that's going to be a problem, because at the moment it is ranging between 5 and 9 degrees. And we don't have access to any electricity, here unless we have a 35-yard cable that runs us to this boat, but the amps that come through that cable will lower because the ohm or the ohm that comes down across it. Our power from the socket to our machine will be much lower. So that's our problem. We can't give it the proper amount of temperature for the resin to bind everything together down here. And we've not been able to replace the foam core from the old balsa wood that was in there. And that's to do with the temperature. You need a minimum of 15 degrees to work with resin to properly bind everything to the outer. We've not been able to do it. But the person I became whilst we've not been able to do this job is far more important, because the research I've done, I have found, of course, that 15 degrees is the working temperature. And there's two different types of the fiberglass that we need to use. I have also found that the core itself is not strong enough, of which I thought it would be. But over time, over thousands of different compressions, the pulling and the easing against of the chain plates through the rigging. So that could be through waves, it could be through wind, it could be through gusts, or even tacking. Through all this, there's thousands and thousands of times that it gets pulled through, the rigging pulls up the chain plate, and it'll try to rip through the deck. And so we found that a foam core will not be strong enough. Therefore, when we install it, we will have to make a U shape down here to install that plywood, the marine ply that we will have resin sealed already, to ensure that the structure of the boat is absolutely sound. So by doing the due diligence, by doing the research, by not achieving, I have become the person that will hopefully be able to fix the boat up to be something safe, structurally sound and secure for the summer. And that's why today I made the video about why it is important sometimes to not achieve, because you become a very different person. You become more knowledgeable, you can see more clearly, you can pinpoint the bigger issues. And that, to me, is more important than anything else. And so, thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.